Hey everybody, I'm Steve Collins and welcome to another Copiah County, Hazlehurst, Mississippi Black History Month. Who remember the Hazlehurst Box Factory, where they made crates and baskets for fruits and vegetables? It was located just off the railroad tracks on the north side of the Miller Street overhead bridge and about a quarter of a mile from town. I remember the box factory because my mother, Nancy Collins, worked there during the 1960s and 70s along with Willie Barnes, Robert Watson and his wife Mildred Watson, Andrew Andy Calhoun, Johnny L. Chase, Ed Lawrence Parrish, who was the grandson of Principal Ed Parrish, Tommy Lee Gary, Isaac Newell, Robert Earl Gary, Paps Mary, Mattie Swan, Minnie Lee Curtis, and Charlie Harold Ketchens, and many, many others. But I also remember the box factory so well is because during the summer months, me and my brothers, Earl and Houston, would go there to help my mom to crease her timber so she could make production for the next day. We would crease the timber, we would bend the timber because the timber had a crease in it. And we would bend it to make it easier for them to make the basket. What they would do, they would put two pieces of timber together and then they would staple a band around it to make the basket. So that's what we did during the summer months. We would also help some of the other ladies to crease their timber so they could make their production for the next day. Now the box factory also had its own money called brozine. And they would pay their employees, or if their employees needed a loan, they would pay them or loan them money in brozine. And you could only spend this brozine in stores owned by the box factory or by your employer.
All right, that's brozine. That's Hazlehurst Box Factory money. You want some money, work at the box factory, go down and get brozine. And you can spend it at Kemp store and Bowman store and Gray's store. And that's the only place you can spend it.
Now the box factory would store this brozine money along with other valuables in a large safe. And this large safe was located inside of a brick type storeroom that was located in front of the a box factory, but it was located on the west side of the railroad tracks. And this building is still there today in its original location. But you wouldn't know it was there if you didn't know it was there, because it has grown up, the woods has grown up, so you wouldn't know it was there because of the woods. Now here's another interesting story about the Hazlehurst Box Factory I bet you didn't know anything about. 931 years of faithful loyal service. 931 years of faithful loyal service. This is how the story goes. Back in 1912, the Hazlehurst Box Factory was chartered and began the manufacturing of fruits and vegetable crates and baskets for the shipment of cabbage, beans, tomatoes, carrots, potatoes, strawberries, peas, peppers, and other vegetables and fruits grown in this area and adjacent areas. Over 40 years later, on this day, December 5th of 1953, Mr. Alex Wilson, president of the Southern Package Corporation, of which the Hazlehurst Box Factory is his home plant, presented to 26 of its employees a gold button, signifying 30 years or more of faithful, loyal service. When Mr. Wilson and Mr. Yates, superintendent of the plant, went to work for the company in 1923, 30 years ago, there were 114 men and women on the payroll, 26 of whom are still there and going strong in 1953. Each one is a specialist in his line of work, and they together keep the wheels turning in the plant that now employs 350 and more men and women, making and shipping crates into practically every state in the union that grows and ships fruits and vegetables. The combined years of service of the pictured group shown total 931 years, and they are named, followed by the year they began work for the company. J.B. Yates, 1923, Will Calhoun, 1918, Jack Blunt, 1913, Virgie Mae Bowie, 1914, George Bowie, 1919, Carol Connolly, 1919, Carl Jones, 1914, Monk Thompson, 1914, Zeke Virgil, 1912, Dooley Washington, 1912, Buddy Smith, 1920, Ism Jones, 1922, Ed Anderson, 1920, John Foster, 1918, S.T. Jones, 1922, Arthur Kemper, 1914, Fred Taylor, 1922, S.Q. Davis, 1922, Smart Cotton, 1914, Dan Jones, 1922, Martin Miner, 1914, Fred Wallace, 1923, Lewis Williams, 1919, Johnny Johnson, 1914, M. Mary, 1914, and not pictured is Alonzo McGlendon, 1921. 931 years of faithful, loyal service. What an amazing story. I wonder if any of those gold buttons are around today. I'm Steve Collins, and thank you for watching another Copiah County, Hazlehurst, Mississippi Black History Moment.